One woman was very worried about her interview, and meanwhile, her friend was getting her dress dirty. The friend then tells her that she didn't have to worry about the interview and that she should just go to the interview and that everything would be fine. The woman says that her friend was right and that she didn't need to worry, so they leave. Looking at that, a man said he needed to solve this situation. Later, at the company, the woman was telling her friend that she had always dreamed of that position. They go up the stairs of the company and, at that moment, the man goes to an employee who was cleaning the floor and asks him to remove his clothes while he removed his clothes. This leaves the employee very surprised at what was happening. He says he wouldn't take off his clothes, but the man says he had a plan and then explains it to the clerk. When he finishes explaining the plan to his employee, he realizes what he wanted and then obeys what the man was saying. Later, the women were waiting for the interview when the man ends up passing the broom at his friend's foot. The friend is furious about this and tells him to pay more attention to what he was doing. She said that her shoes were too expensive and that they probably cost a lot more than the man earned working all month. The woman tells her friend that she didn't have to worry about it because the man was just working, but the friend says that she didn't care about that and that she didn't want to talk to that kind of person. At this point, the man tells the woman that he needs to say something to her and says that something was wrong, but the friend says that he shouldn't talk to them. The woman tells her friend to stop interrupting the man and asks what he was talking about. He then tries to explain what was happening, but soon the friend gets up and tells the man that he should be quiet and not say anything more to them, as he should go back to cleaning the floor. She then poured water on the floor and told him to clean it up soon. Seeing that, the woman tells her friend that she shouldn't do those things, because she was just trying to do her job. She then says that the man seemed to be out to do some harm to them and that she wasn't going to let that happen. At this point, a person calls for the first candidate and then the woman wishes good luck to her friend, but the friend says that she didn't need luck. Friend was leaving and the man tries to apologize, but she doesn't seem to mind that and goes to the interview. At that moment, the woman asks the man what he wanted to say to her and he says that her dress was dirty. He says her dress was very dirty. This surprises her very much. She said she couldn't understand what had happened, because when she left the house her dress was beautiful. She then says that she should go home as she would not be accepted into the position, but the man tells her not to go. She said that this was a dream job of hers and that she would not be taken seriously because her dress was dirty, but the man assured her that everything was fine and that she would do very well in that interview. She asks him if he was sure of that and he said yes and that people wouldn't care about her dress. Meanwhile, the friend was entering the interview and asked the man who was there if he was the owner of the company. He says yes, says he would interview her for the position. She said she was very happy to be there, so the man asked her if she had brought her resume, but she said she didn't know it was necessary to bring it. He said it was a job interview and that he needed to know who the woman was, but she said it wasn't necessary, that he could just look at the body she had and that he would be satisfied with it. She says that since he was looking for a person and she needed that job, they could come to an agreement. He says he couldn't understand what she was talking about and she says that if he hired her, she would do whatever he wanted. She asks if they could have a deal, as she would do whatever he wanted and that she thought this would be a good deal, but he didn't seem to understand what she was saying and was very surprised by that situation. She then starts trying to seduce the interviewer and meanwhile, she was saying that she really needed that job. She then tries to kiss him. But today the interviewer didn't seem to understand what that meant. He said she was engaged, so she is very happy and gives him a kiss. Later, the man was telling the woman that everything would be fine, but at that moment the friend arrives saying that unfortunately she had already been hired for the position of manager. The woman is very surprised by this and asks how her friend could have done that to her, but she said that the company would never hire someone who went to an interview in the dirty dress. The woman said that her friend knew that she hadn't left the house that way, but the friend says that she didn't care about that and then tells the man that it would be unacceptable for his company. The interviewer says that it really was very inappropriate for the company and that he couldn't work with a dirty person. The friend says that would be too inelegant and that she shouldn't be hired. The woman says that she hadn't left the house that way and that she didn't know what had happened, but the friend says that she was a person who didn't take care of herself and that it wouldn't help her get the job. The interviewer then says that the friend was right, but the one who was going to solve that situation was not him, but the owner of the company. This makes the friend very surprised and she says that she thought he was the owner of the company, but the interviewer says that the one who owned the company was the man. The friend didn't seem to understand what was going on there, so she says that the man's outfit belonged to a person who was cleaning the company, but the man says that he had just swapped clothes with his employee. They then seem to be happy that the plan had worked out, and then the interviewer says that he was very grateful for his friend's time and leaves. When he leaves, the man says that he couldn't believe that a friend had done this to the other and that if she didn't tell the woman that she had done it, he would tell it himself. The friend says that she couldn't understand what was happening, and then the man reveals that it was the friend who had soiled the woman's dress. This leaves the woman very surprised and she says that she couldn't believe her friend had done that. The friend says that she had done it because she was angry with the woman, because she always won everything. She says that she wanted to win at least once and that she almost succeeded, but that her plan had gone awry. The man says that her plan was good, but that it wouldn't work at that company. He says he didn't want this case to get bigger than it already was and asks her to leave or he would call the police, but she asks him to give her one more chance and he said it wouldn't happen and tells the woman that she was hired for the position of manager of his company. This makes her friend furious and she leaves. When the friend leaves, the man says that he was very happy that the woman was there and that he expected her to be a good employee. She apologizes for what had happened, but he told her that she didn't need to worry as she was a very humble person and that her company was in need of people like her.